Mine pits lie in the valley like black decaying teeth. Inevitably Wales, though hardly the Wales of the holiday brochures. The very walls still bear witness to the years of depression. Yet Mountain Ash, which surely a poet must have christened, is known throughout the world, at least the world of sport. Once a year, at dead of night, these streets cast off their shrouds and come alive. It's the ceremony of Nos Galan. The literal translation from the Welsh simply means New Year's Eve, but in Old Town Athletics Carnival. A men's mile, a women's mile, 100-yard sprints, culminating in a mass charge of up to 600 athletes through icy switchback streets. They run from the old year into the new. Till it all started in 1958, Mountain Ash was nearly anonymousville, apart perhaps from being one of the cradles of two-fisted socialism. Today, it has a legendary status among the world's top athletes. Legendary for more reasons than one. Because the real story of Nos Galan is to be found high up in these hillsides above the town. If you strolled here 240 years ago, they say, you might well have been scared out of your wits by a runner speeding like the wind. His name was Griffith Morgan, and to those who say that fact has been obliterated by fable, all we can say is that his bones now lie at peace in this churchyard at Llanwonno. Griffith Morgan is known locally as Guto, and the poor boy came to a sticky end in his greatest hour of triumph. But in fact, it's his story that inspired the birth of the Nos Galan races more than 2 centuries later. The man responsible for resurrecting the legend and commemorating it with an event which has put Mountain Ash on the map is a local schoolmaster, Bernard Baldwin. How much does he really believe about Guto?
I believe Guto was a great runner in those days. How great, it's open to speculation. The claim in the inscription on his tombstone that he ran 12 miles in 53 minutes, well, was it 12 miles? Was it 53 minutes? It must have been coincidental, to say the least, that they timed him exactly at 53 minutes, no seconds, no parts of a second. And how did they measure it? And were the roads straight or winding? Were they uphill or downhill? Nobody really knows. All I know is that through the Nos Galan road races to perpetuate the memory of this great man, Guto Nythran.
There are some other remarkable stories, aren't there, of extraordinary feats he's done. Can you go through a few of them?
Yes, they say that he could catch a bird in flight, that he would crouch below a hedge and race after the bird and catch it, and he would release it instantly because Guto was a kindly fellow, so they say, and that on one occasion in error, and this takes some beating, I think, in error, he's supposed to have caught a hare while rounding up the sheep.
Well, I believe it full-bloodedly.
Yeah?
Myself, yes. What other things can we believe then if we can't believe our fathers?
What was so great about this man then?
Well, the speed. I think. I'm almost on the belief he was broken in them days.
Would you tell me the story about how he died?
Well, he ran 12 miles in 53 minutes. And when he finished the race, his sweetheart tapped him on the back and he dropped dead.
He couldn't have been very fit, could he?
No, well, I don't know about being very fit. Been wonderful.
Geoffrey Hosgood, age 35, is the local town clerk. Commercial value has Nos Galan got for Mountain Ash?
Well, I think the main point about Nos Galan is that it's put Mountain Ash, which is, of course, a small valley town, on the mapping proposition. In actual fact, people pour in from these surrounding valleys as well as from this area. And for that one night, Mountain Ash is the mecca as far as South Wales is concerned.
What do you think, though, about all these people coming here in the middle of the winter?
Well, I think it's great, anyhow, to see the racing, anyhow.
Yeah. What do you know about Guto? Who was Guto?
Well, I don't know much about him, do I? I wouldn't know much about him.
No. He was a local lad, wasn't he?
He was supposed to be a local fella, I don't know.
It's said by a few people, Bernard, that you might have yourself added to the legend just a little bit.
I think I might have, yes. I've certainly can, and I've embellished them, shall we say that? I don't think I've added anything very much, because the story is obviously basically true. Otherwise, I don't think it would have lasted 2 centuries.
Did you ever read The Wizard as a boy?
Indeed, yes.
You know the story of Wilson?
Yeah, the great Wilson.
There seems to be, a fair resemblance between Guto and Wilson.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if the people who brought about Wilson in The Wizard first heard of the legend of Guto and embellished it as I have for Nos Galan.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the churchyard of St. Gwynno on the hilltop at Llanwonno, near Pontypridd in South Wales, at the graveside of the most celebrated runner that ever lived, Guto Nythran. The stone you see at our feet says just simply Griffith Morgan, Guto's real name, Guto or Griffith Morgan, 1737, age 37, and a rather crudely cut heart on the stone, because they say that in his last race on earth, Guto's heart was displaced by a hefty slap on the back by his sweetheart, Jane of the shop, Shanno shop. Then, some years later, some friends of his contributed to the raising of this headstone, which says in Welsh, Cor am Griffith Morgan o Nyth Bran and a Plwyf Hwn, and I'll translate it for you, in memory of Griffith Morgan of Nyth Bran in this parish, who died in the year 1737 at 37 years of age. He was a great runner who defeated one named Prince from Bedworth parish in a race of 12 miles which he completed in 7 minutes within the hour. 12 miles in 53 minutes would put Ron Clark, Kipchoge, a number of other celebrated runners over a mile behind. We congregated here today on the occasion of the 1969 Nos Galan road races held in nearby Mountain Ash to celebrate the life and sad death of this hero of Wales, Guto Nythran. Any more? Then Calon Lan. Calon Lan and Llawn Daioni, Tegach yw na lili glos, Emon Calon Lan Asgani, Cani dira Cani nos, Calon Lan and Llawn Daioni.
The sun has set on the old year, but Nos Galan goes on by flickering torchlight. It would be a faint pulse which failed to quicken at such a scene, and a cynic who didn't marvel at the standard of athletic performances in these conditions. The wind cuts down the valley like a lance, and the road in places rears up in the runners' faces in a 1 in 6 gradient. Yet the men's mile record, held by John Wetton, stands at 4 minutes 5.2 seconds. But now it's the women's mile. Same course, but by night, a spectacle of totally different character.
minute. I want to take it down below now.
Number 17 coming in for you now. It's President from the Ladies and gentlemen, Councillor Cecil Williams, JP, Chairman of Martin Ash Council and Nos Galan President from 1969, will now make the presentation ceremony, assisted by the Nos Galan Hostess, Phil Marshall. First is the Nos Galan Women's Fire 1969 from Essex Ladies AC in 4 minutes, 54.7 seconds, Rita P. Right, boy torchbearers, go straight up the road to that bus, turn right down the hill, put your torches out and get on your bus.
Keep it open.
The sprinters, who run from just below Woolworths to the chapel doors, change in a draper's shop.
Listen, lads. Before any of you go out, those of you that have started with me before, they know the rules. Now, all I ask is this. Motionless on the mark after the word set, and then leave the rest to me. When you come out, you'll stand 10 foot back. You know that? I'll give you the command on your marks. You'll come forward and go down. And when I give you set, you'll come up and remain perfectly motionless on the mark. That's all I ask.
The favourite is Ron Jones, Britain's Olympic captain, who's won the title 5 times.
Ron, as a Welshman, what does Nos Galan mean to you?
Oh, a tremendous amount, Rob. You know, I've won this title 5 times now, and I'm going to win the 6th if I can. It means a tremendous amount.
We've got about 5 minutes to go. Are you getting anything near the tension of an international?
Oh yes, well this is in front of my own people. I only live about 3 miles up the road from here, and if I don't do very well in this event, I feel I'm letting them down, you know. So it's a home ground for me. One thing that does disturb me, you know, at the tender age of 35, Guto Nyth Brandless was slapped in the back at the age of 37, so I've only got 2 years to go, and if somebody does it to me then, I might collapse in Oxford Street. In addition, of course, I'm a 3-ace champion, and even though it sounds slightly ludicrous to defend what is virtually a 3-ace title on the road on December the 31st, I still value my title out here enough, and my reputation.
You can't really mean that, though. Nobody's going to say Ron Jones is not 3-ace champion anymore because he's lost on the street.
Oh, no, they won't say I'm not 3-ace champion anymore, but it'll be tracked a little bit.
But how serious is this on the streets, you know?
Well, it is. It's very serious to me. Very, very serious indeed.
These performances that you've been putting up on the street, 9.6, are they real?
Well, if you get a fall of the wind down here, anything could happen. It's almost like running on some of the best tracks in London. If you get a very, very strong following wind with a hard concrete surface, you get fast times.
What's the most important thing tonight? Is it winning this race or is it Nos Galan?
I'm sorry I have to...
To me, at this moment, it's winning the race because, you know, I'm a good competitor, I think.
Good luck with it.
Excuse me.
Sorry,
Fine.
Give the lads a chance. On your mark.
Nos Galan Green, men's 100 yards, first in 9.9 seconds, Ron Jones.
The climax of Nos Galan takes us back to the graveyard. From here, by tradition, a burning torch is borne down the mountain by a mystery runner whose identity is the best-kept secret between Cardiff and the Rhondda. In the past, it's been Derek Ibbotson, Mary Rand, Lynn Davis. This year, there was heavy betting for John Wetton. In fact, it was the somewhat shapelier form of Miss Lilian Board.
So now we know we're at the it's not John Wetton.
No, it's not John Wetton. At least I don't think so.
Are you worried at all about this rundown?
Yes, I have been a little nervous about it. I suppose it's silly, really. I think it's the distance. I've never run 4 miles before, although it's something that'll stand me in good stead.
Treacherous gradient on really icy road, isn't it?
Yes, actually, this is a bit of a problem. When I got up this morning and found we'd had so much snow, I was a bit dubious because I realised it could quite easily turn to ice by tonight. But I think it's quite good. The council in Mountain Ash have been very good and they've been gritting all the roads. So it won't be too bad.
I have to ask, why is a pretty girl running down Nos Galan at this time?
Thank you very much. Well, there's so much intrigue. So many people, you know, brilliant athletes have done it before me. Therefore, I feel it's an honour for me to run this distance, or run this particular run. Mary Rand, an unpacker. I suppose it's just a private challenge with myself, because when Unpacker did it, she had her husband, Robbie Brightwell, helping her. And Mary had Sid, her former husband, and I don't want anybody. I'm going back a bit, else I can't see.
All right.
It's like being on stage tonight at the race, but obviously I couldn't be quite so nervous as I would be if I was running in a top international. It's for show, it's for the people. I'm being a showwoman today, not an athlete. It's for show, it's for the audience.
First meeting, 1969, mystery runner, Lilian Board, European 800-meter champion, Olympic silver medalist over the same distance, coming in now. Go on, let's hear it for you.
And so to the last and biggest race of Nos Galan. It starts in the 60s and ends in the 70s, decades bridged by a 4-mile battle through the streets. The organisers were faintly apologetic. The field, they said, is a little smaller than usual, a mere 376 runners. One of the glories of the midnight race is that here, unlike the Olympic Games, to take part really is more important than winning. This night there were 375 losers, among them John Wetton, 7-time starter and 7 times winner of the Nos Galan Mile. They don't come to live in style at 5-star hotels, for most will sleep in miners' parlours. They don't come to fiddle expenses because there are no expenses to fiddle. They come because a tiny Welsh town plays host like the Rothschild, because there's an affinity here beneath a New Year's sky. They come, in the end, because of a Welshman named Guto, Griffith Morgan, who just may or may not have been the greatest runner in history.